With the basic income, I felt a sense of security because I didn't have to worry about not going hungry, and I didn't have to worry about being kicked out of my apartment.
Yeah, I think timing another march long enough before the election to possibly influence the platforms of the parties, this actually really matters.
It would be great if everybody got a check for $5,000 a month and it took care of all their needs, but that's not going to happen.
Okay, so imagine this. You get a check from the government every month, even if you have a job, no questions asked. Sound a little too good to be true? Well, some people believe giving everyone a basic income is the way of the future.
Let's see if this is better. Actually, yeah, that's way better. This is the lens I want.
Jessie Gollum is chasing her dream of being a professional photographer.
I'm gonna put you just kind of in front of the bed here.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm talking to her is she used to get a basic income.
That's cool.
Yeah, that looks really good, actually.
You might not know this, but there was a large-scale basic income pilot project in Ontario.
You look really good.
Back then, Jessie worked 4 jobs just to pay her bills.
Oh, I think this is the money shot. I was constantly exhausted, having to switch from one job to another, to another, to another, and feeling like you're working forever and why is my bank account still empty? Yeah.
But then Jessie qualified for the pilot and got the basic income, about $1,200 a month. 4,000 other people in Ontario got it too.
I agree. It was a huge, huge relief, and it gave me the room to be able to dream. Now I'm out of just barely surviving. I'm actually thriving. I'm actually doing well.
Okay, so maybe you're rolling your eyes thinking, what kind of fantasy is this? What if I told you that support for basic income comes even from places like Silicon Valley?
All right, guys, good to see you. Let's do a quick check-in. I'm feeling great, excited about today.
Meet Floyd Marinescu, a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur who now lives in Ontario. You could call Floyd Canada's basic income superhero. Maybe you're wondering, a wealthy tech guy supports this? Tell me why you care about basic income.
We all want to live in a society where we believe things are getting better. And I think this policy is absolutely essential to eliminate the need for people to go to food banks, to the people who found themselves, their jobs no longer relevant, they've been automated away. Like, one of the problems with our existing social assistance system is you have to lose it all, before you get help. That's crazy. People selling their houses, having to lose everything. It doesn't need to be that way.
It was with that passion that Floyd created a national organization that promotes basic income in Canada. It's called UBI Works. Floyd has always been quiet about his commitment until now.
So it's something that I hadn't never said publicly before, but I worked full-time for over 5 years, almost full-time on basic income, and committed $2 million of my own funds. And I think we made a dent. I'm getting a little sad. I'm not sad. It's emotional to talk about, because I think people just there is support in Canada for this. I think it could, win in an election.
There's also a personal reason from his childhood that drives Floyd.
I just remember money often being scarce, being a source of conflict, and having my parents often having to scrounge up just to make it basic needs. Those memories, they kind of seared my mind, especially the ones that touched upon arguments around money or how money was spent. Yeah, the Ottawa motion, that would make it would be the 52nd city in Canada to have done a motion for basic income.
Floyd and his team are pushing to get every city in the country to support the idea of a basic income.
City councillors don't get a lot of emails from their constituents, so.
The councillors in Ottawa have received around 200 or 200 individual submissions from their from residents.
It was Floyd's team that mobilized their supporters to send those emails.
So good work, guys. This is a good way to channel our community and help them be active. Basic income will grow the economy by more than it costs. We funded research from the Canadian Centre of Economics Analysis that looked at the impact it could have on the economy, and they found that it would generate over 500,000 jobs. It could add $85 billion to Canada's GDP.
It's that simple. For Floyd, basic income is good for the economy. Not surprisingly, not everyone agrees.
Really, the question comes down to what problem are we trying to solve for here?
Meet Sunil Johal. As a professor of public policy, he's advised the Ontario and federal governments on labor issues.
One of the questions around a basic income is it affordable? And in a perfect world, we'd love to spend $100 billion a year on a basic income and provide these kind of supports to people. But unfortunately, Canada's economy isn't in the strongest position right now.
Do you think basic income will happen in your lifetime in Canada?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the only way we would see basic income really come to the fore in a significant way in Canada going forward is if we have that issue of technological unemployment. So if AI really takes off in the years to come and puts 30, 40, 50% of the labor market out of whack and people out on the streets without jobs, basic income might be a solution in that context.
So is basic income a good idea? Is the benefit worth the price tag? Well, that was what the Ontario government was trying to figure out with their pilot project in 2017. The majority of people in the pilot were here in the town of Lindsay, Ontario.
Yeah, so the pilot program was brought here because there were statistically about 2,000 people in Lindsay here living under the poverty line.
Meet town councillor Mike Perry.
And the government felt that with 2,000 people on basic income, they could really see the results in a community where just about everybody who was of low income was receiving the help that they needed.
It was Mike who convinced the government to bring the pilot project here in the first place for a 3-year trial. He says the whole town got a boost.
To put that amount of disposable income, into people's pockets, into their lives, to be able to live better, to buy healthier food, to be able to get out and participate in the community, just had this incredible impact here for us locally.
One of the people who got the basic income in Lindsay is Grace Hillian. Grace had struggled with poverty and homelessness.
It took a huge weight off my shoulders. I could breathe and not have to worry about if I would be eating in 3 days because I didn't have any food. Or I didn't have to worry about getting kicked out because I didn't pay any rent. I was happy, and I hadn't felt that way in a long time.
Grace used the money to go to college, but then unexpectedly, the Ontario government canceled the pilot project after just 1 year.
I cried when I heard it was being canceled. It devastated me. I fell into a depression. I don't think I got out of bed for 2 to 3 weeks. It was horrible, and I all that worry and stress that I felt before, it immediately came back.
Today, Grace is one of the plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit. They're suing the Ontario government for $200 million. Why do you think the provincial government owes you something in this?
Because they broke their contract. That's the way that I think of it. It's as simple as that. We signed a contract. They should hold up their end.
Yeah, so Lindsay's the main town here where...
Mike Perry believes the Ontario government never thought the people of Lindsay would fight back.
It's this double standard in business or in government contracting. If you cancel the contract partially through, you pay out. Apparently not when it comes to low-income people.
So you think the government behaved this way in part because these are low-income people?
It can cost $150,000 to bring a motion to ask the court to overturn a political decision, a government decision. Who has that kind of money, right? Not folks on basic income.
Because the pilot project was canceled, the experiment was never finished. All we know for sure is that the lives of 4,000 people on the pilot were affected, like Jessie Gollum.
I don't remember being that angry in my entire life. I was furious. I wanted to see heads roll. I wanted to, knock down the doors of Doug Ford's office. Okay. So
Instead, Jessie Gollum picked up her camera and she took the photos of as many of the pilot participants as she could.
these aren't just numbers. These are people, like with faces and names. This could be your neighbor. This could be your relative. This could be your loved one. This could be somebody you know.
Jessie hopes her photos will mean the pilot project won't be forgotten.
We do live in a society and we share this world with everybody, and as a society we are only as strong and only as good as its weakest members.